In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental.
It's crazy to say, but Nicki Minaj has been a target again at her own home. The news just broke out about this man that decided to trespass onto her property.
So when the rappers say these that you've been doing these things to them, they're crazy and they're this and they're that.
Because what Nicki Minaj is alluding to with Roc Nation, I have seen disturbing patterns and trends as well. I've seen that they use bully tactics to silence people.
Atlanta's STD rates are getting out of hand right now. They're seriously high, and DL Hughley is calling out Sexy Red directly. She has basically become the face of this outbreak in Atlanta. DL isn't wrong for speaking up. Before anyone gets upset with him, listen to what he's saying. Sexy Red is naming her lip gloss shades after STDs like gonorrhea. She raps about catching infections like it's something to brag about, and she turns risky behavior into part of her whole image. At the same time, Atlanta is dealing with a real public health problem. So the question is DL right? Is Sexy Red adding to the issue? Or is this problem much bigger than one person? We're going to look at the full picture and why this situation keeps getting worse.
I'm saying that everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend, that seems like a setup is. In business, nothing is coincidental, or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they killed this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow.
And they had some people from your city do it.
Here are the numbers. Fulton County in Atlanta has an HIV rate of 46.5 new cases per 100,000 people. To put that in perspective, the national average is much lower. Georgia's statewide rate is 23.1 per 100,000. That means Fulton County's rate is about double the state average. We're talking hundreds of new cases every year in just one county. Nationwide, 44% of new HIV infections are among Black men, almost half. And Atlanta is right at the center of this crisis.
I personally don't have an issue with the trans part of the LGBT at all. I am the biggest advocate for adults being able to do whatever the heck they want to do. They're adults. I don't care. I only mentioned something because when it comes to children, I wouldn't even allow my 17-year-old daughter to get breast implants. Neither, like, and most 99% of the parents would not let their 17-year-old get breast implants. So if you want to let a child get breast implants, you're not going to want them to have any kind of surgery, because we all know the brain is not developed. And we've heard about 19 times more likely to commit suicide. What more do you need to know? That a child is 19 times more likely to commit suicide if they have a surgery?
This isn't just about HIV. Georgia has the second highest rate of new HIV cases in the country. It also ranks fourth highest for gonorrhea and has high rates of other STDs too. According to the CDC, Black Americans get STDs at rates more than 7 times higher than white Americans. This is a serious public health issue happening right now. So where does Sexy Red come in? She treats the whole thing like it's funny. She has built her brand around the exact behaviors that are hurting Atlanta. Let me show you the details.
Years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because I had seen that word transgender was Baphomet, the transgender.
In August 2024, she launched her beauty line called Northside Princess. One of her lip gloss shades is named after gonorrhea. When people asked her about it, she told Complex she's a marketing genius. It doesn't stop with the makeup. In her song, Nachos, she brags about not using protection. She said the same thing in interviews. On the Lip Service podcast with Angela Yee, she admitted she had chlamydia twice. She told the story like it was no big deal and never mentioned using protection. She explained it happened after she and her partner broke up because he cheated. They both saw other people, then got back together, slept together, and both ended up with it. To this day, she says they still don't know who gave it to whom.
Because here's the whole thing. You gonna charge me with child endangerment? After I adopted 7 children and had them for 14 years in this state? Really? You coming after my kids now? Because it was already a witch hunt. Now you want my babies?
Look, accidents happen and no one should be shamed for getting an infection. But the way she talks about it, laughing, casual, with no real lesson learned, that's the issue. It sounds like catching something is just normal life to her. In August 2023, she posted selfies on X with the caption, "I heard you want a stud. I got the STD. All I need is you." People in the comments were shocked. One said it's not something to be proud of. Another wrote that growing up, this was a major fear and something to feel embarrassed about. A third person said mainstream media making this kind of image seem attractive shows how much society has slipped.
This is the one time that the paper did scare me, and I was like, there has to be some truth to it, is when I read about his affiliation with, informants, that he's in business with certain people. And it's tricky for me to say, but just based on where I'm from, I can't have nothing to do with that. And then just based on...
Do you believe that though?
I don't know. It's paperwork.
Yeah.
So it's not to believe, you know what I'm saying? There's paperwork. So that part of it scares me, because I know Biggs is in jail. I know Irv Gotti's been harassed for years over shit he didn't do. I know they've been fucking with me for years. So it just means I need to stay over here. You know what I'm saying? So I love Jay, but let's say I find out that any of that I can't fuck with him at all, because that's how I was raised. It ain't no disrespect. I don't know how anyone else was raised. That's it. It ain't nothing to talk about. And it's real serious for me, because your friend, my man's in jail for 3 years over weed. The feds is really on me. It's not like they not. And where I'm from, that is not tolerated at all.
That brings us to DL Hughley's comments. He isn't blaming Sexy Red for starting the epidemic, but he asks whether she's making it worse by glamorizing a reckless lifestyle. The answer seems pretty clear. DL didn't attack her out of anger. He sounded more disappointed and even sad. His main point was, what are we doing? What are we promoting to young black kids? What are we teaching them is okay? DL's criticism wasn't only about Sexy Red. It was about what she stands for. He talked about how rap and hip-hop used to focus on stories of struggle and rising above hard times. Now it often feels like something else entirely. No one says every song has to be serious or conscious. Music can be fun, but there's a big difference between having fun in your lyrics and naming a lip gloss after a serious STD. DL said he's not even surprised anymore. He's just confused about why the community celebrates things that are actually hurting it. And he has a point. Music isn't just background noise. It shapes what young people see as normal behavior. When a whole generation hears that catching STDs is just part of life, and sees their favorite artists selling gonorrhea-colored lip gloss as a joke, what do you think will happen? Atlanta is already showing the results. Here's the deeper question many people avoid. Why is this kind of content being pushed so hard? Why does the industry promote artists like Sexy Red, while rappers who talk about building up the community get almost no support? Ice Cube warned us about this years ago. He isn't the only one. Back in 2012, an anonymous letter appeared online called The Secret Meeting That Changed Rap Music and Destroyed a Generation. The writer claimed to be a former decision-maker at a major label. He said that in 1991, he was invited to a meeting with 25 to 30 industry people, including some armed, shady figures. The message was that record labels had invested in the new private prison business. To keep those prisons full, they were told to push gangster rap hard and glorify the lifestyle that leads to prison. Scarface from the Ghetto Boys has said something similar. Labels promote the most ignorant artists on purpose. He explained that if you keep feeding people junk, they start to think it tastes good. Replace that junk with STD lip gloss, and you get exactly what we're seeing today. You don't have to believe every detail of a secret meeting to see the pattern. Artists who push reckless and chaotic behavior get the biggest push. Communities that follow it suffer, and someone makes money on both sides. When you see Sexy Red selling that lip gloss while Atlanta struggles with high STD rates, you have to ask, is she the main problem, or is she just one example of a much bigger issue? What do you think? Is this all just entertainment, or is it doing real damage? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for the next video.